Time for time traveling. Are you all ready? Okay. Anyone by the rows, can you blink the lights when I tell you to? Not yet. We are going to go back all the way to 1956. Marty, blink them, Rose. Blink them. We did not rehearse this. Okay, here we go. All the way back. Thank you, Rose.
All down.
Oh, you can turn this one off, the one in the front.
All down.
Just the front one can go off.
Down.
So, there we go. Thank you. What was happening in 1956? To set the scene.
Down.
Elvis, Heartbreak Hotel was #1. It was new. Charlton Heston asked you to let his people go and mentioned you could pry the staff from his cold dead hands. As the World Turns debuted as the first 30-minute serial. Anyone know what this is? Dad, you know what this is? 1956. What do you guess? You were in technology. It's not a jukebox. It is the first commercially available hard drive. IBM made it. It's held 3.75 megabytes. About what your average mechanical pencil does today. But that was 1956. My Fair Lady debuted with Julie Andrews. And also, the Supreme Court struck down Alabama bus segregation thanks to a movement started by Rosa Parks the previous fall. So that all happened this year. So big year. Oh, and we were also doing nuclear testing in the Bikini Islands. Who was there in 1956? Hands up. I mean, not the nuclear, but who was actually alive this time watching Mickey Mouse Club? Okay, I tried to start with this one. So here we are in 1956. But what was happening in Verona? Here is our high class of 56. I'll leave it up there for a moment so you can look for some familiar faces. There's Sally, our friend, who used to come to all of our meetings. I was on Matt's family. I've met Jane in the past. Look for folks you know. This is our Verona class of 1956. And Rosemary Miller. A lot of familiar names. Baxter, Jacobs. I went to the yearbook to find what was kind of cool and happening in that year. We didn't have 56, we had 55. There was a whole half page dedicated to the milk machine. Which, I mean, come on, that's pretty cool. Yeah, like I said, half page. If you were in Verona in 1956, these are some of the places you shopped for hardware grocery. Only one of these still exists in the current, in the same iteration, although they added an S after son. Here's places you probably went to eat or drink or hang out with your friends. And you get a point if you went to all these places, by the way, so keep track. Here's places you took your car to. This is where you got your tooth pulled. And multiple places to get a haircut. So 56 in Verona. Let's zoom out a little bit, because this is about Disney coming to Verona. Let's set the stage nationally. This, to me, I gasped when I saw this, having been born in '79. 1950, the decade starts with 9% of American households having televisions. So in 1950, you had that one cool friend of 10 who had a TV. But at the end of the decade, 88% had a television. So now you're the weirdo if you don't have one. No offense if that was someone, but to me that's, I mean, the only thing I can think of this is like smartphones. How 2007 no one had one, 2017 we couldn't live without them. Like think about that, like in 10 years, almost no one to almost everyone having a television set in their room. If we go to the year we're talking about with y'all, 71% of American households had a television. So about 3/4 or so. Disney was already well established. These are movies you've heard of that were all released before they came to Verona. Starting with Snow White in the 30s, the 40s, Bambi, you've heard of these movies, Fantasia, Pinocchio, all the big ones. These were all before they came here. So you can imagine Disney, big powerhouse that they came back then. Then, in 1955, television is sweeping the country. They start the Mickey Mouse Club. That was season 1. And Annette Funicello's autobiography, which I picked up yesterday and skimmed really quickly, talks about how when they were found, Walt Disney went looking for non-professional actors. He wanted regular kids. He went secretly to talent shows, dance house auditions, or performances, and he found her. She was the last Musketeer selected, and she was the only one I've read personally selected by him. And she was just dancing at her dance school's recital. And there she is. Oh, right there.
In the middle.
These are some quotes from Annette's autobiography, which I think really set the scene. To understand the phenomenon of children's program like the Mickey Mouse Club, it's important to understand that watching television is not the same as to say. She wrote this in 1994, by the way. After years of listening to radio, we found the black and white images mesmerizing, right down to the Indian chief test pattern. If you know what that is, you're my kind of person. And then several years would pass before the family television descended from a magic box to just another piece of furniture you had to dust, or I could say just a small piece of plastic you hold in your hand.
And we were the remotes.
Before the remotes.
We were the remotes.
You were the remotes. Did your parents push a button on your head so you knew, or did they just say, go flip the channel?
You had to get up from the chair.
Yeah.
So this is the context under which this all happened, everything we're talking about today. A couple other little things. The first year of Disney had a 50% share at one point, so half of the televisions turned on when that show was on, people were watching. And that book says that by later in the year it was, I think, 2/3 or 3/4, which is phenomenal. Think how many people saw you guys on TV. That's just amazing. And also, yeah, I mentioned she was discovered by Walt Disney after Dance Recital. She was the lead in Swan Lake. So now I'm going to show a class, or sorry, a clip of a class. This is how the movie starts. Annette also said she has a page and a half where she talks about this particular film. She has fond memories of it, although it was her first time, she said, ever acting. She said she was just being herself, but now she had to act. Although she was doing the things for real on the farm, so it wasn't really acting. But this is the beginning, when back in California, the beginning of the clip. Bear with me for a second, of the movie, I think. So here's how the film begins. And all my clips are about 2 minutes, just so you know. This is in Verona. That's in Verona. Those cows are in Verona.
Good morning, Miss Ross.
Good morning, Mr. Disney.
May I come in?
Please do.
Good morning, Musketeers and Triple R's. Well, this morning, I have a problem. Of course, I have many problems, but this is one that you can help me with. Have any of you ever seriously thought about what you're going to be when you grow up? The kind of job I mean, or the business that you want to go into?
Oh, I'd like to be an FBI agent. I want to be a fireman.
I want to be a movie star.
I want to be a cowboy.
I want to own Disneyland.
Well, have any of you ever thought of going in for farming, dairy farming?
Well, I have. Sort of.
So have I. How can a girl be a dairy farmer? Well, why not? Anyway, if I can marry one, can't I?
Well, Sammy, would you mind telling us why you thought of dairy farming?
Well, lots of movie guys have ranches and farms. Look at Joe McCrae. He's got a big ranch. Alan Ladd and Bing Crosby. He's got one in Nevada. So I guess it must be pretty good dough in it. Because those guys are no dummies with a buck.
Now, Annette, would you mind telling us what gave you the idea?
Well, when the girl, she lived on a farm. It was my grandfather's farm, and I spent a couple of vacations there. I loved it.
Well, here's what I'm driving at. The American Dairy Association has made arrangements for a boy and a girl who are interested in farming to spend 2 weeks at a dairy farm in Wisconsin.
So it goes on from there. I love the reaction. Kids in California being told they could go to Wisconsin. Acting, sir. So, wasn't that a cool intro? That's Walt Disney himself. Before this program, Annette mentioned he didn't really have a public persona. People might not even recognize him. But then he did this, and okay, so current slide. Come on, current slide. There we go. All right. Now let's talk about Wisconsin. So the first mention that me and Mary found of this coming to Wisconsin was in May of 1956. We're mid-year now. And I'll zoom in on a couple parts here. This is in the Monroe newspaper. It will be produced under the auspices of the American Dairy Association. So there was an agreement. So Disney had, in the Mickey Mouse Club, I found it to be surprisingly robust in content, even today. Like they had serials, they had newsreels, they had musical numbers, guest stars, educational sections. It's really well put together. Well, they had a What I Want to Be When I Grow Up section, and they had done one of them, and now the second one was going to be an agreement with the American Dairy Association to kind of tell kids about what it's like to be on a farm, how you hard work being rewarded. So that is kind of how this came to be. The film will center around the dairy operations at a farm near Mount Vernon, owned by a Madison physician. Ooh, look at the teaser there. It's kind of all you knew. So if you saw this, ooh, that sounds kind of cool. So about a week later, so May 29th, there's another article saying that it will be at the Dr. Iris Sisk farm near Mount Vernon. It's in Verona. Say it. It's in Verona. Come on, we're not just near Madison or near Mount Vernon. And it will star the idolized stars, like New Glarus, yodelers, on those dates. I love this guy. If you've seen the movie, Ernest Zentner is this guy who was really just a local dude, and he plays one of the leads, Polly, who yodels and does farm stuff with the kids. You'll see him in some of the clips. So it's announced here. And there's Sammy Ogg, and that I mentioned, 1316. Okay, where's the Irish Sisk farmer? Where was it? Here's Verona. Right today, we're right there. There's the stoplight. And they found their farm. So they came to Wisconsin and they scouted. They scouted and scouted and landed on this beautiful farm over on Sugar River Road. Here is the beginning, when it took that sweeping shot of the, at the beginning during the credits. This is the farm. Here's today, a modern Google Earth image of it. It's just as beautiful. I mean, I can only imagine they wanted to see your typical, just perfect, picturesque Wisconsin farm. Boom, there it is. Still looks a lot like it today. Here is a 1964, we didn't have a 56 plat map. By 64, Dr. Sisk had owned 400 or some acres, kind of spread out here. In the other map, we had 55, and I think he was still buying pieces of it because there's a bank-owned parts of it, he owns part of it, and I don't have one for 56, the year in question. But down here, oh, there's the farm. Down here, Jim, what's this?
My grandfather's farm.
That's Jim's grandfather's farm, is this one just to the south of it. Did you grow up there too, or no?
Yeah.
You did? Yeah, so you were, gosh, it was in the stars for you. It'd be interesting. If we go back to 47, a lot of folks like John Scherer, or Phil and Laura Roethlisberger remember this as the Darrow farm. Well, the Darrow family owned it for several plat maps. This is 47. But historically, going back to our first map in 1861, the Zinks did. I know you can't see that, but various Zink, Z-I-N-K. So that's kind of the past of this land here. Let's learn a little bit about Dr. Ira and his wife Frederica. Here they are, a wonderful picture of them on Heidi thought maybe it was their 75th anniversary that they took this photograph. I got to learn a bit about them, and they're really interesting people too. Here's Ira on the left and Frederica on the right, and they have family members here. Correct me if I say anything wrong. Ira, a really prominent urologist, served as a doctor in World War I, first to practice urology here at the University Hospital, established the program, was a charter member of the American Board of Urology, the whole country. And he innovated in 1933 a new kind of table to make patients and doctors more comfortable by helping them get better positioned for x-rays and procedures. And also, as I learned from Heidi, he loved rural life and Great Danes. Did I get it right, Heidi? Okay, there you are, great, awesome. And then, well, let's learn about Frederica too. So Frederica, she was an officer for the Angels. She was, I think, secretary at one point. She might have been vice president, volunteered a lot there. Very involved with the Girl Scouts. She was a scout leader. She loved riding horses, and she was passionate about photography. And when I walked into Heidi's house yesterday, I spotted that on the wall immediately, and then later she told me it was one of her grandma's photographs. So to kind of paint the picture of the folks who were there at the time, Ira and Frederica. Here they are with the stars. There's Ira, there's Frederica, Annette, Sammy, and a little Butchie there, taking outside the house. They also shared with me a personal letter from Walt Disney thanking them for letting them use their farm, and he says, when you come out here, I'll get you tickets to Disneyland. So that's kind of cool. Now, okay, so we've chosen our location. We're in Verona, Wisconsin. We have the perfect farm. Now the film has to set the stage for what rural life is like in Wisconsin. And there is a few clips I have here. This happens before and that. This is another 2-minute clip or so. This happens before and that.
I don't know, because they want to, I guess. Pop says the milk business is a good business if you work it right.
Jesse?
Why?
Come on, cut
Jesse.
the cab, let's take a shortcut.
Why?
Thank you for... I was just going to sit here and watch the whole darn thing. Thanks, Andy. Don't worry, we can edit that out. And all the... Andy, could you edit all the sweat off of my forehead, too? Before this goes on community access, I really rejected that thing. Let's see. Escape. Okay, thanks, guys. So I'll start that one over. So here they are walking down.
I don't know, because they want to, I guess. Pop says the milk business is a good business if you work it right.
Why?
Come on, cut the cab, let's take a shortcut.
Why?
It's not Sugar River Road, but then everybody goes north past this farm.
Pinocchio, where are you?
Hurry up, Mooch, we gotta get home. Mooch?
And don't you try to run away from me again, or I'll give you a good spanking.
Mooch, get away from that ball. Mooch.
know a lot of y'all, I would have called that a cow. But now I know not to call that a cow. Here's another clip. Here is another 2-minute clip of when the Disney stars arrive at the farm. This is the drive to Sugar and
Well, here we are, kids.
Hey, Annette, look at all those cows. Those your cows, Mr. McCandless?
Yeah.
Boy, you sure got a mess of them.
They're beautiful.
Well, that's a pretty fair herd. They're Holsteins and that. Mostly purebreds.
Hi, Pop.
Oh, there you are, Jimmy. Jimmy, this is Annette.
Hello, Annette.
Hello, Jimmy.
And this is Sammy.
Hi, Sammy. Hello, Jim.
Youngsters, this is my daughter Linda.
Hi,
Hi,
Linda.
Linda. Hello, Sammy. Hi, actors. I'm
Attention.
Moochie. Hi there, Moochie.
Hello, Moochie.
Hey, where's your hat? My hat? You know. Oh, you mean my Mouseketeer ears. In my bag. Where's your Spinning Mighty Triple R outfit, Sammy?
In my bag.
Well, let's see him.
You'll get used to Moochie. He wants things right now.
So there we go, they've arrived. Alright. And now, I think we are going to, ooh, we're to their barn, y'all. They're probably gonna wait on. I'm gonna play you one more clip. Let's see here. For the timeline. Okay. Elevator. And everyone tell me if this is a realistic depiction.
Hey, Polly, wants to meet my little friends here from Hollywood. This is Annette.
There's Polly the old
Polly.
Hi,
Hi,
Polly.
Polly.
Hi, kids.
Polly, Annette, and Sammy are Disney Mouseketeers.
Mouseketeers. Well, what do you know about that?
Well, not exactly. Annette's a Mouseketeer. I'm just one of the Spinning Marty Triple R boys.
Ned and Sammy have got an idea they'd like to go in the milk business when they grow up, and Linda and Jimmy are giving them some pointers.
Well, that's fine, that's fine.
I'm helping too, Polly. I guess we're gonna need all the help we can get.
Yeah.
Well, Polly, I guess we better get to it, huh?
Yeah, we got plenty work to do.
Bye, Polly.
See you later, Polly.
Bye, kids.
Well, kids, anybody hungry around here? Yeah, Mom, I'm starved. Me too. Come along, man.
Hey, wait for me! Hey, wait for me!
Oh, Jane!
Wait for me! Wait for me!
Too excited.
There's multiple ways that could have ended. So now let's hop ahead. I got another clip of some yodeling, but I want to get to the most exciting scene with the biggest connection to Rona. So a quick timeline of those awesome weeks in June 1956. Monday, 4-man advance camera crew arrives from California. Annette shows up on Thursday, and she was described as having her Mouseketeer dress, a blue skirt and jacket, white sweater, with her name, a Mickey Mouse hat, coming off a chartered plane, greeted by 100 young fans, although I don't think they were supposed to know she was coming. Trucks and equipment arrived from California with generators for the big lights they used in the barn. Friday, Sammy, Og, and the others arrived, and I saw this more than once. While they welcomed the attention, film officials said they would appreciate if Madisonians did not flock to the farm. Donna, what did you tell me Alan did every day?
He rode his bike out there to get a glimpse of Annette.
I guess Alan wasn't Madisonian, so it's okay.
That's right.
Yeah, they said their previous production put them days behind schedule trying to get people on the background shots and stuff. Saturday, they start cleaning the barn, building the stage, they install the lights. And then, this is interesting, on Monday, they recorded the sound for the bar dance. Rita, when we spoke, you remembered, I'm not gonna step on your story, but you remember there being a recording playing? But there's a band in the film. Well, makes sense, there's no microphones in the band in the film. So they recorded the sound ahead of time that they'll dance to. Then the scene was shot that week. And Annette and Sammy's school year ended that Friday. And then the reason they did the barn scene first was so Richard Fossbender, one of the tenant farmers, could deliver the hay. There you go. Okay, let's talk about the barn dance scene. I want to go over and introduce our guests. I will put this picture up here to see if any of you guys are in this. It's an article that we found about your square dancing, and one of the Jordans is over there. I don't know if you recognize anyone in these pictures. And there's another picture here of your collar, but would you guys mind turning the lights on? Or can you turn on the lights?
Just the two on the end there.
We don't really need to see this right now. We want to see our, hey, Art, could you turn the lights on? Turn the lights on. Or I could have Rose blink them again. There you go. You can turn them all on the front one because we want to be able to see our guests.
That one and the next one.
Thanks. Okay, we got some friends to meet up here. I'm kind of a fraud because I learned about all this just from reading about it, but you guys were actually there, and that's mind-blowing to me. And I was hoping you'd go down and you could say your name, and then we'll come back, and I have a couple questions for you all to kind of kick it off about how you got involved in square dancing, what this was like, where you did it. But first, could you just, oh, the microphones, by the way, you have to hold them exactly 4.25 inches from your mouth. And the point, because too far away, you can't hear. 4.25. Oh, just introduce yourself.
Jim Winkleman. Bill Call Senior.
Rita Richardson Little. Mary Beth Jordan Lewison.
Thanks, guys. We can have the ladies share a mic, and the dudes can share one. So you all have these memories and this experience. I was wondering if we could just go down the line, and before Disney even came, tell me a little bit about your club, how you got involved, what it was like. I've never square danced. My grandparents square danced. It seemed cool. Could you tell us a little bit about it, what your memories are of the club?
George Richardson was our next door neighbor on the farm. My family had 7 kids, and when we moved to that farm, George, of course we befriended neighbors, and George came over, and I can remember him talking to my dad, and he said, Jack, these kids work pretty hard. You really should have something for them to do. And I'm a square dance caller. How about we have a square dance club? Well, Daddy went along with it. There was a pig barn. It was quite large, long, and we cleaned and cleaned and cleaned, and then we laid down a floor, tiles, a tile floor, put wallboard up, put posters and whatnot all around, and we had all the area high schools listed, Verona, Edgewood, because some of us went to Edgewood. Who else did we have? Oregon, and pictures of my older sister's twins were artists. They had pictures of square dancers, and we named it the Hoedown Hut. So George came down during the summer, every Saturday night. Oh, and there was a bar going out of business in Madison. So Daddy got a long bar and some booths and benches and whatnot. It was really quite colorful. George would come every Saturday night, and we would have square dances. So that was our square dance club in the Hoedown Hut.
And speaking about George, that was my Uncle George. So Uncle George Richardson. And yes, and he did call and was very good at it. And being that I was, a Richardson, he got my brother and I to come over.
Yeah, my mother was a Richardson, so we square danced too, our family did. Our family square danced too. My mother was a Richardson, so.
Joe, my question for you guys, the article says, the picture there, it says there's always a shortage of boys who are willing to square dance. Is that true? Was it mostly girls? And if so, what got you guys into it?
My mother came. To enjoy ourselves. We went there to enjoy ourselves. My mother took us over there and we learned to square dance. We liked to dance, so.
Did the ages mix together, like in this picture, or did you just dance with people of your?
Oh yeah.
Any other memories you guys have of your time? Was this associated with a 4-H club too, or is that totally separate?
When we moved into the neighborhood, remember I said we had 7 children, and that was enough children to open up the local school, Stoner School, which was there and had been closed. And so they opened up Stoner School, and we went there. And that's how I met a lot of Richardsons and those folks who lived in that Fitchburg area. So we had a 4-H club. And of course, the 4-H club, because the dance was at our place, the 4-H club was heavily invested in it. And also, we all learned to dance. George did everything gratis. It was wonderful.
On Friday nights, did you dance to a live band, records, a radio? Did you have a full band in that pig hut, in the hoedown hut?
George brought his own sound system, and we had a jukebox as well, from that bar. So it was George's recorded music, and then we had this jukebox with these records that we danced. We didn't always square dance. When he'd give us a break, we'd do a rock and roll.
Like secretly, you would rock and roll
No,
dance?
he didn't mind. We had a soda pop machine. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. And it grew and it grew until pretty soon it was every Friday and Saturday night in the summertime. And that only lasted for about 3 years. You know, when you're a kid, it's forever. But everybody grew up and off to high school and graduating and whatnot. About 3 years, I'd say.
Was this more of a rural kid thing? Because I know we got some city kids who grew up here in the room too. Or did they also square dance, or was it really just
I don't know. I think it was all kids from the country. Neighbors, and so-and-so would tell so-and-so, that sort of thing. So it's a place for kids to go, and it was all ages, as you can see from the picture, boys and girls. My partner, I had a steady partner, and my partner was Lloyd Broman.
Oh, you got to say that to the mic. You got to record this. And how good were they, too? Go ahead.
Okay, my partner was Jerry Richardson, my brother.
My partner was Jennifer Jordan.
My sister.
I don't think I had a regular partner.
So there were partners? I thought you just kind of kept switching up as the color went. You had people.
Well, you get used to dancing with somebody and the same sport couples. You get used to dancing with one person, and there was a core group that came every Friday, Saturday night, and so you just end up in the same square with the same kids. We got really good. We did that double timing that you could see on TV. George had us going all over the place for demonstrations. He was quite a promoter, so we were on television. We did a lot of stuff because he was a big promoter. It was through George that we went to the Disney movie because he heard about it and he applied. He did all of that background work himself. So he's the one who got us in on it.
That's amazing, because we tried to figure that out last time we spoke, like how did this happen? I was wondering if you could each share memories. Do you remember any more about when it was told to you, like that moment where they said, you're going to be in Disney, or did they just ask you to show up at this barn? Or do you guys remember any anticipation?
I don't remember the exact moment, no I don't.
Okay.
But we were pretty excited because, Mickey Mouse Club was coming. It was a big deal. We all got Social Security cards for the first time. They paid us $10 a day for the movie. That was big money. It took 5 days to film the dance, the square dance scene. So that was a lot of money. When we were babysitting, we were just talking, we were babysitting for 25 to 50 cents an hour. So it was big money.
Actually, that's a great segue too. I was just curious so now they've showed up, your day has come. I was wondering if we could go down the line and just everybody share really any memory you have about what it was like to be there, either waiting, did you see Annette, what was the dancing like? Really just brain dump, anything you guys can remember. I think it'd be great for.
I remember that Mother had to take us up on the square to get a bus. Everybody had to ride in the bus out to the Dr. Sis farm. And we got out of the bus and we looked around and stuff like this, and then they showed us the barn that we were going to dance, and which was fun. I mean, we enjoyed that because we were used to dancing and going out. So we had a good time running around the farm when we weren't being filmed.
We had to go to the Lorraine Hotel, right?
Yes, yes.
Took us to the Lorraine Hotel, and our farm was just a hop, skip, and a jump from the Sis farm. but we gotta go all the way up to the square.
Just to repeat for people in the back, so you were also in the movie too?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, you want a chair? I can get you up here. I'd love to have you up here. Yeah, please, come on up. So it was mentioned that you had to go to the Lorraine Hotel, even if you live next door, for insurance purposes or whatever reason, they had people, here, you can have the soft chair. I'll sit in the lawn chair.
I think there's a few other people that were in the movie that should be up here also.
Okay. Well, if you guys want to come up, or we can pass the mic around too at the end. I want to. All right. Oh my God, dream come true. Like Disney World is happening. We're gonna have to do a picture too. Do you want to come over here? We got anyone else? Oh, where someone's getting called out. Oh, can you add a chef over here? Go ahead, you can sit here. Anyone else who's in the movie who wouldn't mind coming up and sharing some
Who's the
memories?
backup? Can I
Yeah.
interject something? I was a backup in the background and they used to stand in the bathroom.
Oh, say that here.
I said, I was a backup, so I got to fill in when you guys had to go to the bathroom. The youngest boy on there, the short boy, was my brother Bob.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, this is amazing. It feels like a real talk show. I should be like wearing tires. Did you guys introduce yourselves?
I'm Barbara Call Gust, brother to Bill. And my brother Bernard was also in the movie, but he passed away.
Who was your partner? Great question.
Oh, my partner was your brother, Michael, who I had a crush on at that time. And Tommy, I love Tommy.
I'm Bernadine Rosie LaFave.
And who is your partner?
I did not dance, but I was in a group
Okay.
surrounding the dance.
Oh, you were one of the people, the extras. Great. Well, let's keep going right down the line. Like whatever you guys remember about actually being there, whatever the stories you have. I'd love to hear them.
Well, they had a luncheon for us every day, and it was something else. It was also in one of the sheds. It was all cleaned up. A table just laden with good stuff. You could have whatever you wanted. Of course, our eyes were this big. So that was fun. That was a lot of fun. It was really, really hot in that barn. I mean, I think they said it was well over 100 degrees with all the lights. Yeah.
I remember at break time, we would go in the yard of Dr. Sis farm and play. And poor Annette would have to go to the trailer with her mother. She couldn't come and play with us, but Tommy could. And we had a ball out there.
But she had to go to the trailer because they were school age, and they had to have classes in the trailer.
Yeah, but she could never come and play with us.
Oh, no, she couldn't.
My brother Michael was a stand-in for Sammy Ogg, and my sister Jennifer was a stand-in for Annette Puncello. So they got that $10 a day, every day for about a month. Big money. With that money, we all pooled our money and we bought a car. It was Daddy's idea. It was a Buick and it was a convertible. It was green with white leather interior. Oh, we just thought we were something else. Of course, it broke down after one semester of school. It was so hot during that filming. It was so hot during that filming. And I remember earning, I think, $50. I thought I could retire and I'd be rich. With that $50, I bought my first Samsonite suitcase, which I used for years afterwards.
Were you guys nervous? Like, Jim, were you nervous? You're a pretty chill guy. Well, grab the mic. What was it like?
Yeah, well,
Oh, you got your mic.
yeah, I was probably a little, I told you before, a little intimidated by the whole thing, you know, when you're, went to Valley View School, Joanne Geiger and I were the only two in our class. We briefly had Jerry Gerber and Chuck Little, but Joanne and I ended up going through all 12 years. But yeah, you know, coming off the farm and going to the big time, the Lorraine Hotel was an experience. So.
We never left the farm, we were always on the farm.
Yeah, that's it, you know.
And I was the only eighth grader in Valley View.
You're the only 8th grader that year in Valley View.
When I was in Valley View, it was eight.
It was 8 classes, different classes, but I was the only 8th grader. He was in the 7th grade when I was in 8th.
You guys both go to Valley View, you said? You had, yeah, but you had to be 6th grade.
Or did he? You had to be in 6th grade.
To be in the movie, you had to be 6th grade.
5th grade. Yeah. You had to be in 5th grade because I was in 6th. I have the merry-go-round. Yes. I don't have the real good one. The one, you know, the initial one had the stringers around the top and the rods that hang down, so you could not only go around in circles, but you could also do this, you know? Yeah, I can see why I should ban that one. But we have a regular, ours is from Valley View, and it's the regular merry-go-round.
You may have to donate that.
Huh?
You may have to donate that as an artifact and we get a bigger storage.
You'll never get it out, because Dan Lugamil and I, apparently the merry-go-round had been moved several times, and each time they dug a bigger hole and poured more concrete around it. So by the time we got to it, there was a slug of concrete about this size, and now it's even larger.
Jim, when we spoke last December, you told me you had one thing that made you really nervous every day you were shooting. Can you share what that was?
Well, probably what it was keeping your shirt clean, because you had to wear the same clothes every day, and my shirt was white, and so you're definitely afraid you're going to spill pop down the front of your shirt, and be real embarrassed by that.
Yeah. Well, do you guys want to see the scene? Yeah. We'll watch it. It stokes up any other memories. All right. You guys find out this light? I got to figure out which one this is.
Turn them all off so we can see them.
No problem. So this is about, I'd say 4 minutes or so. I took out the parts where Moochie's goofing off under the table just for shortness sake, but it's about 4 minutes here.
Hand on his arm, and they're going hand and circle left with the pretty little thing.
Come on. I got this. Gotta go here, you have to escape, perfect. There we go.
Hand on his arm, and they're going hand and circle left with the pretty little thing. The other way back, they're going wrong. Now swing your off when you get back home, you're making wild with a pretty little girl. Fade to the center, back to the box. Jam to the center with the right hand star and the right hand cross. Back with the left, you don't get lost. Now make that lady go right on by, pick up the next girl on the fly. Jam back out, ladies, go in, go once and a half, and you're gone again. Break in the center. And swing the next girl down the line, and you got yours and I got mine. Now promenade, that's what you do. Take two and one, go to back.
Having fun? You bet.
Me too. Back of my boys, not too far. Hey, shoot and fire, and there's your own, and you take her hands, and you promenade is 2 by 2, right back home like you always do. Now on your clock there, it augurs all. Now everybody shout and everybody holler. That's the end, that's it, holler.
Sure must be fun to be Rocketeer. Well, I'd say it's pretty nice to belong to a 4-H club. Sammy, don't you have 4-H clubs out in Hollywood?
Oh, sure. Only we raise Mickey Mouses. Or should I say Mickey Mice?
1 second.
We raise Mickey Mouses. Or should I? Mickey Mice.
Okay, let's play a game of face game. I know some of you are in this picture.
Can you use your mic, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, this is a great shot of some Verona kiddos. Let's see which ones we can name here. I'll start. I know you know this one.
That's my sister Jennifer Jordan.
Oh.
And she was the stand-in for Annette, you said.
For Annette, yes.
So does that mean like when Annette was in her trailer or whatever?
They had to do schoolwork all the time. So they just came out at the end to do the scene. So all the prep work that was done, they had stand-ins.
Do you remember if you all had to teach the stars how to square dance? I'd imagine they wouldn't have known that.
Well, I don't remember that happening,
Okay.
so
So
maybe
this,
they took lessons in California before they came.
I think, Jim, this is you. I think in another shot we get a good shot of this. I think this is Sally. Sally here? Sally Winkler? Where, is that Karen? Can you yell out the name of who that is?
That's Karen Hendricks.
That's Karen Jo Hendricks there. Karen Jo Hendricks, which was Sally Winkleman's sister, right? We see her a bit at the end there too. I think, anyone recognize that guy there? Yell it out. I think we knew who that was too. And then one more shot at the end here. This is the part that I dreamed of forever, which is figuring out who some of these folks are. Who's this guy right there? That's Bill. Look at that, you're in the front. Yeah, I think you can see anyone else as well, kind of the same folks from here. So I went and when we met, these pictures aren't the best, but I want to show them off. From current slide. When we got together in September, or back in December, we were able to spot a few more folks. I mean, these are a little bit grainy. Is this Bill again here in the front? Yep. One of the taller ones, huh, Bill? Nice, I can relate. So we come down here, and who's that there? Is it right there with the... There's Rita, yeah! We did like the Zapruder film. We went through every frame really slowly, examining it. And we found Rita there. And we also, right there, who's this guy? Yeah, there's Jim. We caught Jim too. So there you go. Oh, was Bernadine there too? Is Bernadine in there? Right there? Oh, yeah. I'm missing her. So, one thing I want to ask y'all is, what kind of impact did this have on your lives? When you got back to school, were you stars? Did the kids bring it up? Was it like, oh my gosh, I was in this movie?
No, not for me.
Nobody cared. Not for me either, because I was going to Edgewood.
Rita and I were freshmen at Edgewood High School that fall. And you can imagine we were country kids coming into the city, so they didn't give two hoots about what we've done. They really didn't. They didn't either.
What about when they played it later on? Did anyone notice you or?
No.
Not that I remember.
Okay. Do you have anyone? No notice? Well, you get your recognition now. It's a little bit late. What do you think? One other question I have for you. This is kind of poetic in a way, but I'm just curious what your feelings are about this experience looking back now, almost 7 years later. Is it, do you think about it a lot? Is it something that seems really cool that you did, or was it kind of like, just another day? just kind of curious what this means to you all now, having been there for this awesome thing. To the best.
Well, I think it's just very cool. It really is. And once we had this thing where we had to write down something nobody else knew about us, so I wrote down that I had danced this barn dance, and they thought that was pretty cool. Of course, we're all in our late 40s by that time, so it was okay.
Yes. And yesterday I was at a gathering, well, a funeral gathering, celebration of life, and there was a lot of people there and said, "Oh, we're going to the movie tomorrow, and you're in the movie." I said, yes, I was.
Yeah, my kids know about it. My grandkids were happy.
Have you played it for them? Have they seen it? Have they seen the movie?
Not that I know.
Oh, it's on YouTube.
I think my daughter has seen it.
It was fun. But, you think about it a lot, and I'm in a book club, and the other day we were talking about movies, and I said, oh, I was in the Walt Disney movie. And they all going, really? Well, but my question is, when we were in the movie, it was called The Dairy Story, right? And when did they change it to Adventures in Dairyland?
Before it played, because it switches in all the articles and the timeline that Mary helped me establish, Dairy Story, Dairy Story, Dairy Story, boom, Adventures in Dairyland. It must have just been a decision they made after it was done being filmed, because it flips in all of them, and that's what it's historically been known as. Are you guys up for questions from the crowd? Do you mind if we go out and see? Real talk show here, guys. Who's got questions for the group?
All the lights.
Or anyone else who was in there, or yeah, who else has any kind of connection to this film at all? Because this is our chance. I really think people are going to watch these meetings in 100 years. I really think that. Someone is going to be interested in this, and they're going to want to know about it. So this is our moment to put this in a time capsule. Rick, were you in the movie? You were in the movie? Playing it coy, so I wouldn't call you out, right? Do you have any memories about it, or?
Just that it was a good fun time, and it was different, that's for sure.
Did you see yourself in the clips we just played?
No.
There's more clips than that there. Anyone else have any kind of personal connection? Hi, just introduce yourself, say you are. Thank you, Cheryl.
And we lived on the farm, Dr. Sis owned two farms, and we lived on the farm on Highway G. And my uncle was Richard Fassbender, who lived on the farm when they made the movie. And we used to have all kinds of pictures, but my mom wasn't great about preserving pictures, so I don't really have any. But I did reach out to my cousins to see if they have any pictures that I could get copies for you guys.
That'd be great.
I have a question for my mom.
Oh, question for your mom.
Mom, is that you on the left up there? Bernadine LaFave? Bernadine? Yes. Is that you up there on the left?
Bernie, she's wondering if this is you right there.
I think it is.
I know I was in that group right after they were done dancing. I know I was in the group right after they were done dancing.
It looks like your smile.
That really looks like her, doesn't it? Yeah. Do you think that could be you there? Can you tell us?
I don't know where I was in the group.
Okay.
After they were done dancing, I was right behind Annette. After they were done dancing.
I think this is the city. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for pointing that out. We want to identify as many faces as possible. Who else? Anyone else with any kind of personal connection to the film or memories of anyone else hop a fence like Alan and try to get close to Annette until they tackled him? I made that part up.
You did. You did.
Hi, my name's Rick McKay. I'm Heidi Sisk's, Heidi Dish's cousin. And Heidi, I was the firstborn of my family, so I was born in '53. And Heidi's mom and dad, who her dad was a physician just graduating from medical school right at the time of this, and he was my hero. And they got wind that this was going on, and they took me to the filming of this.
Wow.
So
how old were you? How old?
I was 3, just almost 4.
You remember it?
Oh, I remember it. You don't forget this. Well, there's more to the story because I remember Polly, the herdsman, and then the yodeler,
yeah,
and Annette, and then Sammy, and probably Moochie. I think I remember meeting them, and just one day that I got to go out there. But What happened was my dad got transferred to Milwaukee, and I was in grade school in Wauwatosa, and they played this movie once it came out for all the classes because it was such a big deal.
Yeah.
And I'm watching this, and I'm trying to say that I was like taken back that I had been there and seen this. I don't think anybody believed that I had been there. but I think I probably said that I had been. So Doc Sisk, I think I met him once, and he was Heidi's grandfather, and then Heidi's dad, Bill, became a surgeon, and he was my role model. I ended up in medicine. I became a doctor.
Oh, wow.
And I ended up being in emergency medicine, and I worked in Wyoming for many years, but I got the urge to come home, and I always envied all the farmers, all of you farm families, because I didn't grow up on a farm. We grew up in Westmoreland and Madison, and but now I own a large amount of farmland down in Primrose. And so we just cut hay yesterday, and I don't crop farm it. I don't think I know enough to do that, but part of this movie brought me back.
That's great.
It was the attachment to the farm country, and I'm back.
There's people here who can help you with that hang thing, by the way. Heidi, you weren't born when this played. But you knew your grandparents really well. Did they talk about this a lot, or what? Did they ever bring it up with you? I'm just curious.
Not really.
Okay.
We spent a lot of time on the farm with the Fox-Bender kids, but we knew of it. It was very special in our family. But it wasn't a regular topic of conversation for me as a kid. So.
You didn't have the internet where you could go just keep playing it over and over, too. You got to get film. Anyone else with connections to the film? Oh, is there someone?
A very brief connection. I saw her on television.
Oh, here you go.
I saw her on television in 1955. I was 15 and she was 13.
Who's that?
Annette was 13 years old when I saw her on television. And they sang Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
A real little girl, but a very cute, pretty girl.
That's right. Thank you. Was she your favorite Musketeer, Annette?
Oh, I suppose.
Favorite Musketeer, Annette? Anyone? Hands up?
Oh, in that movie, yeah.
Oh. Thank you. Anyone else have any memories to share from back when this happened, or family members? I think, too, we can open up, let's open up for questions, general questions about the film. We have Brian. Do you know a lot about this, too? Because Brian's with the Mount Horeb Historical Society, and this is pretty close. Is there anything you want to add or anything I missed? Here, let me get you this. Oh. Love it. I'll get there. Here.
They did allow families to go there and take photos with Annette and the Zwetler family, which was Henderson then living nearby. We have photos in the archives there of the kids all posing with Annette and so forth. So they did let local kids occasionally go over and apparently take photos with the stars. I don't know how it was arranged. And I was hoping she'd come today, but I tried to get her here, but I'm not sure where she wound up today. But.
Oh, I should mention too, so we're going to put all of Mary's articles on our webpage for this. I'll put them all up there. There are more about the screenings too. It played one 15-minute segment a week on Disney that November for 10 weeks. But they also had a little reception here in town for local actors to come, and it was a big affair downtown. They watched the whole thing. And there's some, Polly the Yodeler was there in a suit. They've got pictures in there. So if you want to see more, they'll be on our website. But they did come and have a screening. I'm not sure if they went around to the farms and got all this farm kids. That's kind of not cool. They should have come and gotten you guys too. And then the articles indicated that after Disney was done with it, the rights would be transferred to the American Dairy Association, which might be why this is on YouTube so many times. Because I'm guessing it was still owned by Disney. They probably would have linked it. But yeah, if you want to see the whole hour and a half, it's on there. Yeah. It was a serial, Ruth asked. That was part of the daily program, was a serial where they put these little chunks. And yeah, this was showing those pieces. So when you watch the whole thing, you can see the little chapters starting every 5 minutes or so. It was not a one-day thing, no. But at the celebration, they did play it once. Anyone else have any questions or comments? Yeah, please, here you go.
A little side story to Ellen and George Richardson, who taught the square dancing. I lived on Whalen Road, and they were over on Grandview. They were over on Grandview, and George and Ellen were very entertaining, and Ellen would fix dinners for special people in Madison out at their farm. And It slipped my mind now what I was gonna say about, anyway, Ellen was one of the first people to be the chaperone for Alice in Dairyland.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Did you know George? Did you know him personally?
I didn't know him well, but he was a neighbor, and, yeah, he's very outgoing, and so was Ellen. And, so anyway, she was the first chaperone for, I think 1948 was when they first introduced Alice in Dairyland, and she was one of the first chaperones.
Oh, very cool. Thanks for sharing that. All right, small town, huh? Yeah, question. Here you go. Thanks. Oh, wait, did you bring the baby? Thank you for bringing the baby. People say, like, we got to get younger folks to come to these meetings. Unless you're in labor, there's no way to beat that.
I heard a Samsonite suitcase earlier. I was curious what anybody else might spend $10 a day on. It seems like you said a lot of money. What else did people spend money on back then? Like a new fishing pole, or there wasn't so big of stores back then.
Yeah, pass the microphone. What would a splurge? Thank you. What would a splurge purchase be for a rural Verona kid in 1956? Other than a Samsonite luggage. Do you guys remember what you did with the money? Or what kind of things did you save up for and spend money on back then? Because now it's all about smartphones and iPads. But what kind of things did you have that you really liked? Do you remember? Clothes? So,
Clothing. We wanted clothes. But I already told you what we Jordan kids did with our money.
Went to the car. That's
Yeah, I
right.
went to the car, and then the car ended up on blocks in the shed. And
My brother,
was not much of a mechanic.
my brother Bill can probably attest to this, but I don't remember seeing $10. We were from a large family. We had 8 kids, and Mom and Dad probably needed the money. So we didn't know. We didn't care. We got fed and we got clean clothes. So.
That's a good question. I wonder how many of the kids saw that $10. Jim, did you see your $10?
1948 Harley Panhead Springer paint chip.
Is that a motorcycle? Is that a motorcycle?
It's a motorcycle.
So your money went to a motorcycle?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Motorcycle.
Oh, say that again, Jim, a little farther away.
So I didn't have a car, but I had a motorcycle.
Yeah. Bill, you remember what you spent your money on?
No.
No? It's been a while, huh?
That's quite a few years ago.
I should have invested it.
We, one time I said to my mother, I said, don't you think we should get a allowance? And she says, well, then you can start paying for the meal on the table. When I started going out, I was always given money and gas, so that was a good outfit.
Any other? Oh, here you go. Here, Randy, let's have you use the mic.
Did any of you get any autographs from them?
Can you pass that mic rather? Anyone get any autographs or pictures with the stars?
My sister Jennifer has autographs.
They still exist?
Yes, they do.
Can we scan them?
Well, she lives from Des Moines, so I'd have to ask her.
Please do. That'd be amazing.
I don't have an autograph, but I did have a picture that was in the Wisconsin State Journal of Annette and Sammy with my brother and I. And I think you have that. I think you scanned that when you were at my house.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, we do have that one. It was a newspaper article with 4 pictures in it.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool. Other questions? You can shout them and I'll repeat them if you want. You got any questions for our group? Yeah, oh, right there in the pink. Here, I'll give it to you. You never know when we'll have this panel assembled again of this many people who were in this film.
Well, I don't know for sure who to ask this question of, but weren't Linda and Moochie were also Musketeers? I mean, they were on the Musketeer show all the time, so you're only talking about Sammy and Annette here, but there were other Musketeers here too, weren't there?
Moochie was a musketeer.
Moochie, I think Moochie was newly discovered. I
Okay,
think
but
this may have been
Linda was, looks familiar.
right there in the middle.
No, well.
The one who played the sister from the farm family?
Yeah.
I think she was an actress, maybe from Chicago. I don't think she was. Do you think she may become one afterwards?
Well, I don't,
Yeah.
I thought I remembered her from Musketeers.
It could be, yeah. I kind of stopped my research at this.
And Moochie was in a whole bunch of stuff that
Yeah.
Disney did after
Kevin
that.
Costner,
He was in movies after that.
Like, as Moochie the character.
Yes.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Yep. Oh.
it say in the credits
Yeah.
on the movie introducing so-and-so's Moochie?
You're saying, does it say introducing so-and-so's Moochie? I think it
In the
does.
original,
Yeah.
in the original movie that's on YouTube, it says introducing.
It might say introducing Kevin Corcoran as Moochie, so this will be
Yeah.
his first. A cool, cute little character. Probably some former Moochies in this room right now, I'm guessing. Other questions for our panel? Because I've got just a couple quick little scenes to wrap it up. I do want to get your pictures before anyone runs off. Just in case, everyone look here, because this is a historic moment. You said you didn't get your due and your recognition back then, but you get it today. So thanks. And I have 2 quick clips to play. If you guys could, Cody, if you could hit the lights just in the front here.
The 2 at the end.
Here's this guy first. They're both about a couple minutes long. This one I want to show you. Remind me, is yodeling Norwegian or Swiss? Swiss, thank you. So here's a part of the local culture.
I wonder where he is. Got it by now.
Oh, the boat comes back too.
Well, I'll be darned. Oh, look, my bull got him up a tree. Well, let's get him down. I take care of the bull. You get down the little tree climber. Okay, Paulie. Okay, Sammy, you can come down now.
Boy, I'm glad you came, Mr. McCandless.
What are you afraid of? The bull's tied up.
Yeah, but he ain't tied up short enough to suit me.
Are you all right?
Yeah, sure. Nothing like a little fast tree climbing to put a guy in shape.
But where are all the pigs?
The pigs? They went that away. Hey, cut that out. You sound like you got a stomachache. Hey, that plant's in trouble. No, he's just dusting the alfalfa. The alfalfa? What for?
To kill the bugs, silly.
Oh, they even use airplanes for farming nowadays, huh?
Yeah, sure do.
Hey, what's that stuff way over there? That's alfalfa, hey.
So it really had a decent educational value as far as learning about farming in Wisconsin. They milk cows at one point, they do some farming. And here is a very tiny little bit of the ending where Annette and Sammy go back, they do a yodel, they do a dance, and then they throw a shout out back to the family here.
Gee, that's great, isn't it?
Yeah, I think they're all pretty good.
And now, Sammy and I want to say hello to the McCandless family back in Verona, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And thank you for a wonderful vacation.
Yeah. We sure learned an awful lot about dairy farming.
Goodbye. Well, you guys have anyone have any final closing thoughts to leave the future generations with about this crazy, weird, and awesome experience? Anything we missed? Okay, we're going to have them signing autographs up here. I've only got one pen. Actually, I would like to get your autographs. Was kind of a sheet of paper like there? I started by joking, but I actually want you all to sign this. Because when we have a display in our museum of this. All right, guys, it's 1956. You're getting asked for your autograph. But I guess I really want to thank you all for coming and sharing your memories with us about this awesome day. I don't give them a round of applause.